Okay. My name is Rabbi Jeff Goldwasser. I serve Temple Sinai in Cranston, and this morning it is my honor also to represent the Board of Rabbis of Greater Rhode Island. This last week, we heard U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions offer his interpretation of Scripture. As a rabbi, I like to encourage that. I think that everyone should read the sacred texts of their traditions and search them for meaning and truth in this confusing world. However, I do have to be critical of the Attorney General for his exegesis that concludes that anything the government does must be the will of God. It seems to defy the general rule that if your God just happens to believe exactly what you believe and justifies everything that you do, you may be worshiping the wrong God. Also, it's not like the Bible makes it hard to find verses that speak directly to the question at hand. How should we treat strangers who come into our land? In fact, the Bible speaks quite plainly. When a stranger resides with you in your land, you shall not wrong him. The stranger who resides with you shall be to you as one of your citizens. You shall love him as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I, the Lord, am your God. Now, Mr. Attorney General, that does not seem too hard to interpret, does it? But in case you want to make sure that you understand this text from Leviticus 19 correctly, I would be happy to let you know what Rashi, the great 11th century Jewish commentator, has to say about it. Rashi says that when the text teaches, you shall not wrong the stranger, it means that you shall not even speak harshly to him or her. You shall not taunt the stranger about coming from a strange place and having different customs. Now, if we are told not to wrong the stranger by speaking harshly, how much the more so should we feel chided not to accuse him of being a murderer, rapist, or gang member? How much the more so should we be chided not to throw such people in prison, even when they plead for protection from the oppression that they are fleeing? How much the more so should we be chided not to throw such people in prison, even when they plead for protection from the oppression that they are fleeing? How much the more so should we know without having to be told that we shall not take away their children and put them in cages? If you want to quote the scriptures, Mr. Attorney General, please then, we are begging you, live by them. We, the Board of the Rabbis of Greater Rhode Island, wish to speak loudly and clearly that what our government doing is immoral. We demand that the children who have been taken into captivity be reunited with their parents immediately. We demand that the policy of zero tolerance be ended immediately. We demand that all human beings who step into this land of liberty be given the liberty of equal justice under law, that they be given quick and speedy justice and due process. And by what authority do we demand all that? Certainly by the authority of the U.S. Constitution, the laws of this nation, and international human rights laws, but also by the authority of the God who speaks, I, the Lord, am your God. Rashi tells us that God concluded the statement about not wronging the stranger with the words, I am the Lord your God, because God wanted to make crystal clear that the God is the God of all. Elohecha ve'Elohav ani. The God of you and the God of the stranger am I. God is not just the God of the citizen, not just the God of the native born, not just the God of the wealthy and powerful, not just the God of the English speaker, and not just the God of the white. We look forward to the day when this nation shall be restored to the promise of the beautiful words inscribed upon the Statue of Liberty, words written by the Jewish American poet Emma Lazarus. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Thank you.